Shalom. Welcome back to the Midrash channel. We are doing our walk through the Tehillim or the Psalms. We're doing Tahila by Tahila or Psalm by Psalm or Song by Song. Important the notion about the Psalms, it makes it a little bit different than the rest of the Bible you may be familiar with. It's actually a collection of songs. The Tehillim is a word in the Hebrew. It means songs. So these are things that were sang. Most of these are attributed to David. However, he didn't write all of them. However, we will continue on here. We're going to read them. So when you actually read them, the people who compiled the Bible, they didn't make one thing clear. That when they broke them up into chapters and verses, it's actually stanza by stanza. Like if when you're reading a music sheet. There's stanzas for each line of a song, and this is no different. We're going to continue on. This is out of the TS 2009 version of the Bible. However, feel free to use whatever version you may have on hand. But if you should feel like you want to read out of the TS 2009, it's not a problem. Google it online. It will pop up in some Bible apps. It's all over the place. However, I'm reading out the handy dandy Bible. So I'll read this. I'll begin. We're going to read through Tehillim 39 and 40 today. And we may talk about it for a second, and then I'll be on my way and wishing you well. Tehillim 39 and 1. I have said, let me guard my ways against sinning with my tongue. Let me guard my mouth with a muzzle while the wrongdoer is before me. I became dumb, keeping still. I was silent from good, and my pain was stirred. My heart was hot within me while I was meditating the fire burn. Then I spoke with my tongue. Yahweh, let me know my end and the measurement of my days, what it is. Let me know how short-lived I am. See, you have made my days as handbreadths, and my lifetime is as non-existent before you. Only all men standing, they are all breath. Selah. Selah is a break put in the song to make you consider what was being said, to ponder it, to ruminate upon it. Let's keep going. Verse 6. But as a shadow, each one walks. Speaking of man. But they busy themselves only in vain. He heaps up wealth, but knows not who gathers them. And now, Yahweh, what do I wait for? My expectancy is in you. Expectancy is in you. Deliver me from all my transgressions. Do not make me the reproach of the foolish. I was dumb. I did not open my mouth, because it was you who did it. Turn aside your stroke from me. I am overcome by the blow of your hand. When you chastise man for crookedness with reproofs, you consume what he loves like a moth. All men are but a breath. Hear my prayer, O Yahweh, and give ear to my cry. Do not be silent at my tears, for I am a sojourner with you, a settler as all my fathers were. Look away from me, that I might brighten up before I go away and am no more. Hallelujah. That is the reading of Psalm 39. Let's review it a little bit. We know that we already mentioned at the beginning that it was attributed that it was written by King David or David of Judah and Israel. Now, as I said earlier, all the Tehillah were not written by him. You know, this song in particular deals with sin consciousness and the brevity of life, about how fleeting life is, how temporal our existence is, how we seemingly are on a fast forward tape called eternity. It's just a piece of time. It's very finite, very, very little. It's like a blink. But then he's also talking about the strength of mankind, no matter what we do. He's talking about here that they gather, they heap up wealth and all of these things. And he's saying that even all the strength that a man has, that he gathers in his life, is nothing when compared to Yahweh, the mighty one, the one of the covenant. And he says all men do at their very best is vain. We see that in verse 8. Verse 8 also tells us that the psalmist is feeling the weight of his sin, his transgression, of his failure to do the right thing. See, he's very aware of his own shortcomings in this situation. This is a man speaking who has been through something, who's done something, and is now feeling the weight of that, the repercussions of that, even the separation he may feel from his Elohim, from his father, from his creator. So even that where he says transgression right there, verse 8, verse 9, that's important that that word transgression is the word pesha. It's a Hebrew word, and it means to be in rebellion, to be in transgression. And sin is rebellion against the instruction or the Torah of the Most High God. So he's fully aware of what he's done and how it's affecting him. And he's feeling the brunt, the blow, the totality, the consequences of this thing. And he's asking in verse 10, he's asking the Most High as he sits under the weight of his own judgment, his own consciousness, of his own guilt. He's asking the Most High to punish him no more. Because apparently there are things that sin bring into our lives. When we don't do what we're supposed to, there are consequences that come. Let's talk about consequences for a quick second. The word consequence, we usually make it a negative connotation, but it's actually a very neutral term. Because if I do what I'm supposed to do, the consequence of that is I get the things I'm supposed to have. The positive consequence of the thing that if I put in time, I'll put in my work, then I will gain the reward that comes along with that. Now, conversely, if I do wrong, if I put in the wrong kind of negative work, then the consequences will be the consequences of the thing I've done is going to be the thing I don't want. Because see, I've made a choice. I've went off the path. I've chosen a different way. And the psalmist here is saying that he is confessing by proxy, not necessarily saying what he did, but he's letting you know that I've screwed up and I know I messed up. And he's asking for mercy at this point. He's asking, please show me some mercy. Punish me no more. He says in punishment, in verse 11, in punishment, you take away what a man loves, like a moth. Now, if you ever had your food eaten, if you ever had, not your food, but if you ever had clothing and things like that, if you had moths get in your closet, you'll know that there are holes in your clothes there. They eat through things, they devour it, and usually it's left to a point where it's not even usable. And the truthfulness is, if you let if a moth is left alone long enough, he will consume the entire product, the whole sweater, the shirt, whatever it is that they began to eat, they will eat till it's there no more, or they die. And he's saying that you have eaten away everything that I love, the things that I held so dearly to. You are taking these things from me. You're eating them up just like a moth does. And then he's throwing himself on the mercy of the court once again. It's like when somebody goes to court and they know they're guilty and they throw themselves at the mercy of the court. He is saying, hear my prayer in verse 12. I cry out to you. And he's saying, here I am. Please forgive me. Please stop with, please don't let this happen. I'm asking that you do not give me the thing I deserve, because I so royally deserve it. But Father, I cry out to you. Father, I ask that you spare me the fullness of the judgment that's come upon me. I fully acknowledge my sin in this moment. I acknowledge that I messed up. I acknowledge that I put the events in a course that have caused me to walk down this path. I understand I'm at fault here. Please, I beg of you, please do not utterly destroy me. And he's also asking him that look away from me. Again, when a judge is looking down, I've spent a lot of time in court because it's my work. I've been in so many courts I can't even count. But one thing that stays consistent: when a judge is sitting in their seat, in their high lifted up lofty seat, they're squarely looking at the convicted, the condemned person, and they are pouring out judgment. They're speaking directly to that person, and they are pronouncing the doom, the situation upon them, the adverse effects, the thing they do not want to come. And he's asking the judge, he's asking the Father, he's saying, please look away from me. Please don't stare at me with the eye of judgment anymore. I'm fully aware of where I'm at. But if you continue to pour out your judgment upon me, I will be destroyed. That's verse 13. I will not be able to bear the weight of what I deserve, of the thing that I had coming to me, the thing that I should have had. He said, do not be silent at my tears, though. I'm asking for mercy, not judgment. I'm asking for your mercy at this point. Remember the covenant you have with my fathers. He says, do not be silent at my tears, for I am a sojourner with you, a settler as all my fathers were. Look away from me, that I might brighten up before I go away and am no more. He's pointing out to him the history of Israel. They were a nomadic agrarian people who traveled as they went forward. When they started out, they had tents, they had sukkots, they had places temporary dwellings they would have that they would carry, they would wrap up, they stay a place for a while, then they move on to another place. This is before they came up with the four-room house, which goes into the era of settlement. But I'm not here to teach any of that. I'm here to talk about this story. So just notice when he said like my fathers, they started out as nomadic agrarian people. And he's saying, I am like that. I am just passing through this land. I am a sojourner in this world. Please do not cut me off. Because if you keep staring at me, you keep judging me, Father. If you continue to let the eye of righteous judgment fall upon me, I cannot stand. No man can stand under the full weight of the judgment that he deserves. The Most High gave us mercy and grace, so that mercy for those who are outside of covenant, and grace is for those who are in it. Because all men sin, whether they're inside the covenant or outside. The mercy is for those who do not deserve anything, but it's another opportunity to get it right. And grace is extended to those he has an honor-bound pledge to help, to be there for, where the covenant is in agreement with them, and they are people he's allowing, based on his covenant, a chance to get it right. Grace is better than mercy. Different story. I'm not here to talk about all today. Let's keep on going because we only got a little time left. Now we'll read Tehillim 40. Now, one thing we come out of 39 is it's a very somber tone, it's very pessimistic, almost nearly defeatist. Though he feels defeat, but he feels victory. He feels shame, but he feels that the Most High will honor him. It's a lot going on in there. And we often are those people as well. We often find ourselves in a contrary position, as David found himself there in Psalm 39. Now let's read number 40. I waited for Yahweh, and he inclined to me and heard my cry. And he drew me out of the pit of destruction, out of the muddy clay. He set my feet upon a rock. He is establishing my steps. Then he put a new song in my mouth. Praise to our Elohim. Many do see and fear and trust in Yahweh. Blessed is the man who has made Yahweh his trust and is not turned to the proud. And those turning aside to falsehood, Yahweh my Elohim, many are the wonders which you have done and your purposes towards me. There's no one to compare to you, I declare and speak. There are too many to be numbered. Slaughtering and meal offering you did not desire. You have opened up my ears, ascending offering and sin offering you did not ask for. Then I said, see, I have come. In the scroll of the book, it is prescribed for me. I have delighted to do your pleasure, O my Elohim, and your Torah is within my heart. I have proclaimed the good news of righteousness. And in the great assembly, see, I do not restrain my lips, O Yahweh. You know, I did not conceal your righteousness within my heart. I have declared your trustworthiness and your deliverance. I did not hide your loving commitment and your truth from the great assembly. Do not withhold your compassion from me, O Yahweh. Let your loving commitment and your truth always watch over me. For evil without numbers have surrounded me. My crookedness has overtaken me, and I have been unable to see. They became more than the hairs on my head, and my heart has failed me. Be pleased, O Yahweh, to deliver me. O Yahweh, hasten to help me. Let those who seek to destroy my life be ashamed and abashed together. Let those who are desiring my evil be driven back and put to shame. Let those who say to me, aha, aha, be appalled at their own shame. Let all those who seek you rejoice and be glad in you. And let those who love your deliverance always say, Yahweh be exalted. But I am poor and needy. Let Yahweh think upon me. You are my help and my deliverer. O my Elohim, do not delay. Okay, what we see here in Tehillim 40 is that there's more of a more optimistic tone to the words, a more optimistic tenor to the song that he's singing now. He's saying in verse 1, he said, he sees that Yahweh as his deliverance. And he says he is his deliverance from certain destruction. He lifted him up out of the mire, out of the dire valley, out of the dark place, out of the place where it was the sunken place, the below place, the place where he dwelled alone. And he says, and he set him upon a rock. He pulled him out of the depths of his own destruction and his demise and sat him in an elevated place upon a rock. And he says, where despair does not and could not overcome and overtake him. If you've ever been in a valley and you ever seen what's going on, you'll notice that usually where's a valley, there's usually hills right there. And many places in the Levant region or in the Middle East area, you find there's a lot of rocky area above. So he doesn't mean he's literally picking him up and put him on a pebble or something like that. No, he put him up on a high place, an exceeding high place, a place far removed from the valley that he was in. Around verse 3 and 4, we see that he answers. He sees that the Most High answers him, and he's no longer singing, help me, but he's singing of the Most High's mighty acts, of the things he's doing, of his power to deliver his people, for him holding his covenant, for making good on the promises that had been that the Most High honored his prayer, that he heard his beseeching and he came to him based on covenant. The Most High deals with us based on the fact that he's a covenant with us from our forefathers. And he sees the best in us, even when we don't. What did Marvin Sapp say? He sees the best in me, even when all I can see is the worst in me. When the Most High sees you, and he knows what he's put inside you. He knows the struggle that you have because of the flesh that you live in, but he does not make that an excuse for you. He simply knows that is your condition. And because of that, he is willing to deliver you. He's willing to come after you, but he needs you to come back to him, and you have to confess those things that you're doing. You have to make teshuvah, which means to turn away from them. Y'all like to use the word repentance, but it's not really that. It is teshuvah. That means to correct course, to go back in the way you ought to go. That's the quick version of what teshuvah means. Look it up. Teshuvah. It's a Hebrew word. So he's singing of his mighty acts because the Most High is delivering him. Now he's feeling good. He's beating his chest. He's like, yeah, see, I told you my daddy's going to look out for me. See, my daddy came for me. And that is pretty much what he's saying here. He says that I can't speak of all the goodness you've done for me. I remember when I was in church, they used to talk about if I had 10,000 tongues, I could not confess all that he's done for me. And the writer here is saying the same thing. He has done so much for me, but I will not hold back my praise. I'm going to try and do it anyway. He says that I'm going to praise you. I'm going to lift you up, and I will not hold back speaking of your goodness. I'm going to be your front man, your hype man before the show. I'm going to let people know who you are. I will be the emissary who shows who you are to a dark and dying world. Now, notice this in verses 6 and 7. He said that the Most High wasn't looking for sending. He wasn't looking for sin. He wasn't looking for the sin offering, the meat offering, an animal sacrifice. That is not truly what he wanted. Now, understand that in the time that this was written, the Levitical system was in place and the priesthood was there, and they would take the sacrifices and they would put them on, they would slaughter, they would kill the animal, they would cut it up, slaughter it, and put it on the offering, on the altar of offering. And there are various types of offerings. As you see here, he's mentioned a few types of offerings that can be given. But he was saying, the Most High, he said that is not what he wanted. The truth is, the Most High, the sacrifice he really wanted was you, me, the living sacrifice that's holy and acceptable unto him. See, we are to be the animal truly on the altar. Those things, the sheep, the goats, the turtle doves, and all these other things that people bring out there, all sorts of poultry. They bring these things and they bring in gold and silver. There were lots of offerings there, that you can make. And you should read the book of Leviticus to get a better understanding of it. And you'll even understand what the Mashiach's role was in salvation when you read and understand that thing. But that's not where I'm talking today. I'm just simply reading about the Tehillim. He's saying, he was alluding that those were not the things you wanted. The sacrifice you truly wanted was me. Now, it doesn't say that there, but it alludes to the fact that the sacrifice, the thing the Most High wanted on the altar, was not all these things you can bring. He wanted you to bring yourself there, lay yourself out, and you become that thing, that you learn to die to self so that he can live through you. And then you can be forgiven. Then you'll be set free. Then you'll be delivered. Because see, the deader you become to self, the better of a sacrifice you are. When you can let go of those things that hold on to you, those things that you held on to so strong, they keep you as a spotted animal that cannot be laid on the altar. See, the offerings that people bring to the Levites could not have any blemishes or spots or anything on them. What kind of offering do you bring to the Most High when you open up your mouth? What kind of offering are you bring to him when you speak out and you cry out to him? So he said to him, obviously, I'm going to speak of your goodness publicly. He told them, I do not hold back. See, I'm so happy that you've done this thing, for I'm so excited. My ruach, my spirit is so overjoyed in your presence, and that you recounted my faith, and that you looked past my faults, and that you delivered me from this thing. I will not hold back from letting people know of the goodness that you've shown me, the kindness, the love, the things that you've imbued upon me. And I'm fully aware that I do not truly deserve them. There's nothing I can do to deserve these things. He says, let your loving kindness and your truth always watch over me. Now, we reviewed what loving commitment was a few videos ago. Loving commitment is a ongoing theme you'll see throughout the Tehillim. And in there, it is, you need to go back and really look at some of these old videos. But we went into that a little bit. And what you'll find there is that loving commitment speaks of being surrounded, being engulfed, tied up, tangled up. And he says it covers me. And he says that evil is all around me without number. So he's saying that the loving commitment of the Most High is a force field that protects him from all the gross darkness, the enemy, the plans, the plots, the schemes, those adversaries who are out there to get me. And he's saying they're without number. I can't count that high. They're all over the place. I got problems here, problems there, problems everywhere. Everything is out of order. Everything is in chaos. Everything is seeming to be trying to spell out my doom. Help me. Continue to deliver me. Yes, you deliver me from the valley, but these other issues are here, and I need your deliverance. I need your help. I need you to watch over me. One thing I did not touch on was in Psalm 39:1. We were reading that. There's a word that appeared, I think, twice, guard, which is the word shamar. See, what he's saying here is that he's asking the Most High to guard over him. Now, I'm not going to get off. That takes me down a different rabbit hole, and I have to really expound on that. But I will tell you this, is that everything is done with the presupposition that when we see that in Psalm 39:1, let me clean that up real fast, is the fact that he said that he is shamar, he is guarding. See, the word shamar means, it's a military word. It means to guard, to protect. It means to stay on. It means to keep a sentry, to keep a watch. I keep an aggressive stance that I defend my position. So he's speaking as one who is in Shamar here in chapter 40. See, the theme carries over, but I don't have time to really get into that. He says, let the enemy's plans, because see, the enemies are setting in array. They are coming together. They're confederate. They have a plan. They have a plot to take me out. But he's saying here, the enemies, they pass over. They're coming after me. He says, but Yah, he's calling upon him, the mighty one of battles, Yahweh Gabor, Milkama. He's saying, the one who fights, the one who does battle, the one who wins victories. He said, do not forsake me. He says, put all my enemies to shame. Let those who talk this smack, let them get it. The ones who are trying to hem me up, Father, I ask that you give them what they're trying to give me, that you pour it back upon their heads. And he said, all those who mock me, Father, put them to shame. Father, let those who love your deliverance always say Yahweh be exalted. And he's giving, and as he's going through this thing, he's bringing an encouragement to anybody else going through something. He's saying, if you trust in the Most High, if you lay upon his word and allow him to lead and guide you and to be your protection, that as you protect him, that he protects you, you protect his word. You put shamar around his word as he puts a shamar around you. Because when you walk in the secret place of the Most High, you will abide under the shadow of the Almighty. But he's looking for someone who is willing to step up. Somebody who is willing when they fall down, because you will. When you don't think following him means that you're going to be a flawless creature. Being perfect means to be mature. You will grow. And a lot of times you're going to grow through the mistakes that you create. You won't always sidestep everything. That's why he says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, because your rod and your staff, they comfort me. What he's saying there is, there are things I'm going to have to go through. And many things that we have to go through is because of the things that we have done, the things that we brought upon ourselves. So see, there's no more, don't be trying to play Mr. Goody Two Shoes or Miss Goody Two Shoes with him. He knows what you've done. Now, all he wants you to do is confess yourself and pour yourself out on the court and throw yourselves at the mercy of the judge and ask him to forgive you, give you clemency, to give you something you do not deserve, so you will not get the thing that you truly deserve because of the covenant he's created with you and your fathers, and that he keeps that promise that was made. Well, that's all I got for today. I appreciate you all for stopping by and visiting us here on the Midrash channel. I've been doing finals. I'm in my graduate courses, and I've been busy reading these kinds of books. The stuff is a trip, but that's no excuse for me not doing the thing I need to do. So I will endeavor to make sure I be more consistent with these uploads. So I thank you all. I appreciate you for stopping by, and may the Most High bless and keep you. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and share. I will be honored if you do that. I'm not trying to become a YouTube anything. I just simply want to do what the Most High has put before me, and you can also help me with that. And by you taking a part of this work, by doing that, you share in the thing of completing the mission the Most High has given his people. That's all I have to say for today. I look forward to seeing you next time here on the Midrash channel. And until then, I bid you Yom Tov. Good day.